Hello and welcome to One-on-One with Clay County History, brought to you by the Clay County Historical and Arts Council. I'm Tess Thomas, CCHAC's media representative, and your guide through these conversations that bring our local history to life. Today, we're honored to speak with Reba Beck, a dedicated community leader whose contributions span education, history, and the arts in Clay County. Her passion for preserving local heritage continues through her role as co-president of the Clay County Historical and Arts Council and her involvement with the Old Jail Museum. Looking ahead, Reba is once again stepping up for education as a candidate for the Clay County School Board in 2026. In this interview, we'll explore what drives her commitment to education and culture, the impact of her work, and her vision for the future of Clay County. Reba, thank you so much for having us today. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
I'd like to start with some background. What inspired you to become involved with Clay County Schools and later with the Clay County Historical and Arts Council?
Well, for one thing, the schools were a very vital part of the Beck family when I first met them. Of course, Sam talked a lot about going to school on Shooting Creek. He went to the old school. That is, the parts of that building are still standing.
Oh, amazing.
And in 1952, the new brick building was built, and he just shared so many ideas and thoughts and memories of going to school there. And his mom taught there. She taught both in the old school and then in the new school, and she taught for 20 years in Clay County. So there was just such a rich history already and an appreciation for what the schools had done, because of course I appreciated Sam Beck right away and just thought about, the background that he had and the preparation that he had, and so the Clay County schools were a vital part of his family. And even his grandfather, Sam Hogsett, was also a board member at one time. And that would have been almost 100 years ago now.
Wow.
But he was also like a committee man, so a member of a committee that sort of monitored each individual school in the community. So that would have been the Shooting Creek School that he was a part of that. So I knew that and just really appreciated that part of the history of the Beck family and the Hogsett family.
So, did you teach before you came to Clay County Schools, or you decided to get into teaching because of that?
No, Sam and I both began our teaching career in Gwinnett County.
Oh.
So we taught there for 1 year, and then we both taught in Towns County for 2 years. So.
And you traveled together in your teaching. That's amazing.
Of course we did.
Yay.
Yes.
So, what year did you come to Clay County Schools?
That would have been my first experience in Clay County Schools would have been in '75.
Amazing.
And I was a kindergarten teacher, and again that just made me fall in love with Clay County because of the school, the wonderful experience of being a part of the kindergarten team. Our first classroom was an old building that had been used as a cafeteria. And probably other purposes as well, as long for as many years as it stood there, because it was probably 100 years old when we used it as a kindergarten building.
Wow.
And that was the year that they were building the new first grade and kindergarten pods. So it was the most wonderful experience to be there and watch the construction going up and see the excitement of the kids, and just interacting with the school community was just fabulous.
And then later you got involved with the Clay County Historical and Arts Council and the Old Jail Museum. How did that come about?
Well, the Arts Council, of course, was organized in 1974, and that was just before I started teaching there. So I wasn't really so very well aware of it until I began teaching back in the high school in 1991 when I came back to teach there. And,
as an art teacher.
As an art teacher.
Yes, that's amazing.
Well, and I began to interact with them because they reached out to me, and they were very, very generous in some of their interest in what I was doing and so forth. So they actually bought the first kiln that I used.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yes.
from that, I really, started attending meetings and so forth, and getting involved with them slowly. Of course, my efforts were completely toward, my teaching, and that kept me from doing a whole lot of extracurricular. But anyway, I began to understand what they were doing and how they were involved in all of the programs that they were doing, and grants that they received and so forth. And so I can't even remember when I actually became a board member, but I'm sure it was somewhere in the 90s. It was before I retired that I became a board member, and really got involved in the fundraising, of course, the festival on the square, and the other activities that they were doing, and so from there it's just been something that has been a joy and a delight to have the opportunity to get that involved and be a part of it.
Yeah, I imagine. What does Clay County mean to you personally?
Well, of course, as I was saying, when I first met Sam, we never dated on the weekend because he was always coming home, and he was always talking about Clay County. He loves Clay County, with a passion, and his appreciation for the county certainly piqued my interest and made me want to know more about it. But especially when we married. I love this community, absolutely love the community. Of course, the scenic beauty is something to be appreciated, and I certainly appreciate it all the way. But just the people, I think the honesty, the sincerity, the culture of the people, because there's so many levels of different lifestyles, I guess you could say, because the farmers were still very, very active.
Sure.
A lot of the families raised chickens, and they had you still see the chicken houses, don't you?
Sure, yeah.
So practically every family had a chicken house. And
in the garden, they grew their own.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. They grew their own food. And Sam and I did that for years. When we first married, we had beef cattle. We had a big garden, and I canned every summer, and just all of that just was a part of the rural and agricultural
everyday life here. Yeah,
it was, and I loved it. I mean, we even had a wood stove and the whole 9 yards. But we had an electric stove in the kitchen, but we heated with wood, and we just it was just really a wonderful, wonderful lifestyle. But I think what drew me to Clay County and made me appreciate it even more is just the people, being able to relate to people of all different places, and different, because there were a lot of people who were moving in even at that early time, not so much as now, but the people who moved in were interesting, and it just enriched the community so much.
And friendly. Everyone here has just been so friendly to me. I've been amazed. You don't see this a lot in a bigger city, say. So I love it. I love Clay County as well.
I do.
I just fell in love with it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people say that. I hear a lot of people, because when I meet people, I'm always, how long have you been here, and where did you come from, and tell me about where you live, and they are always very, very vocal about their appreciation for Clay County, and I love that, and I try to because there's so many people who are moving in, and I try to find ways of engaging people so that they will know that they're welcome here, and their contributions are important, and so many people have found ways to contribute to the community, and I love that. I love that about the
yes, there's genuine care and concern about where we're going and where we've been and how to grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Can you share some of your most rewarding experiences from your time as the art teacher?
I think I would have to say the students themselves, and people would always ask me, what's your favorite class? And my response was the class that's before me right now.
Right. I love them all, but
I mean,
yeah.
I found the students so interested in art and art education. They, a lot of them would come and say, I don't know how to draw, and I'll say, well, I'm here to help you and teach you, and it was interesting and just so much fun to see them begin to learn some of the processes and techniques of just drawing a picture. I mean, of course, we used every technique that you can think of to make it as realistic as they wanted it to be, and or as abstract as they wanted it to be.
Sure.
That kind of thing. So that was so delightful to be able to teach the different forms of art, the different styles of art, and see the students respond to that. Was great.
I would imagine that just watching their creative process had been very rewarding,
Oh, yes.
just to see what they come up with.
Oh yes, absolutely, because I always taught a specific concept and a specific technique, but then I allowed them to do their own interpretation of what I had taught them. So
awesome.
That was something that I found very, very rewarding.
Yeah, and then so at the end of the project, you can sit back and look at all of their different perspectives. The same thing turns into so many.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No two were ever alike.
That's amazing.
And I really appreciated that. I can tell you this too. I'm not sure what technique she uses to get the work out of these students, but Ellen Engelman and the who's doing the position I was in when I was there, she does a magnificent job of getting those students to do magnificent work. I am just so amazed at her. So.
And you can find that interview with Miss Engelman on our website too.
Oh, great.
What role do you believe that schools are playing in connecting the students to the local history and the arts?
Well, for one thing, I think that the teachers do a wonderful job with their curriculum of social studies and history. And interacting with the community. I think they're welcoming for the people who can come in and do presentations and so forth. I know that they do that, and I know that the students benefit from that. And of course, different cultures with the Cherokees and so forth. They're very, very conscientious about that. So I feel that whatever we can do as a historical and arts organization is to provide as much programming as we can in the schools. And of course we've done that over the years to do a lot of programs that we provide through our grant process. We bring in, oh my goodness, historians, people with all kinds of interests and all kinds of backgrounds. We brought in some of the tribal members. We've sponsored them. We've sponsored even people who have walked the Appalachian Trail, for example. And written about it and their experiences with the coming through the local area and of course the living on the trail and so forth. This it's always very interesting to hear the different people. And of course, we have an African American woman who is a storyteller who's going to come in a couple of weeks, and will enhance their appreciation and understanding of Black History Month.
Wonderful.
And
her name was?
Donna Washington.
Donna Washington.
Yes.
So keep an eye on the website and our social pages for a flyer coming out about that. It's coming up pretty soon.
Yes.
Clay County Historical Arts Council also donates, or sponsors, I should say, like the drama class.
Oh, yes.
And you go in and bring in artists to Miss Engelman's class, sponsor that, right? So the kids can have a new project.
As well.
And in the elementary also.
Yes.
That's amazing. So you can always learn more about how Clay County Historical and Arts Council supports the Clay County schools. Is very important and dear to their hearts. So while we're on the subject of schools, when did you first become involved with the Clay County School Board?
I ran in 2016.
Nice.
So, yes.
And you were there for how many years?
I was there for 8 years.
Tell us a little bit about some of the rewarding things that happened through that.
Well, of course, for one thing, we were able to, during that period of time, we were able to apply for a grant and see the construction of the new primary school. And then before my term was over, we had applied for the grant for the school that's presently under construction, which is a 6-8 school.
When will that be finished? Do we know?
It looks to me like they're ahead of schedule.
Really? That's wonderful.
I just hope they're under budget as well. But
Sure,
anyway.
right. Always.
But I don't know about that, but I do know that they're ahead of schedule. So
That's great.
I will probably say within the middle of next school year they should be there
wonderful.
at the beginning of 27.
Wonderful.
Which really I think that was the projected finish, but it certainly looks to me like they're ahead of schedule. But
So they're getting it.
It's wonderful what they're doing, and
I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be so exciting for the students, and even the parents will be able to enjoy it.
Oh yes,
Not let alone the teachers having all the new updated equipment.
I
and
think
stuff.
what is so really nice about it is that it is so close to the high school. It backs up within feet of the high school building. So there will be the new auditorium that will be there, and the lunchroom, the cafeteria, will be there for the high school and the middle school and the elementary. So all three will have access to the new cafeteria. So I have not seen, that I recall, I did not get to see any of the virtual renderings of that part of the building, but then we were able to see what the administrative wing and the classrooms are to look like. So that was wonderful, and it just leaves such an impression. When you see those images, that you kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to be like with a lot of plate glass and so forth. It's just going to be an absolutely beautiful building.
Wonderful.
And it's to look out over the town and the mountains along Fires Creek. So
Wonderful.
it's going to be absolutely a beautiful, beautiful
Very
building.
exciting.
It is.
I can't wait to
really
see
is.
it. Let's switch gears here a little bit. As co-president of Clay County Historical and Arts Council, what are your priorities for the organization?
Well, I could be humorous and say survival. I think.
Hey,
but
seriously.
we have a lot of fun. Not a lot, but we have fundraising events. Of course, the Festival on the Square is our major fundraiser, and we have donations from the vendors, and we provide a sale of those items. A silent auction we did for several years. This past year we just did a sale, and so anyway, it's always a priority to make sure that finances are incoming. But I think basically, I would love to be able to just make sure that we're communicating with the community, that we are relating well to the community, that we're getting responses. I've seen some success with that because it was a great desire of mine to have a website that was improved and updated, and thank you for that. And
it's been my pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
All of our media presence has been stepped up, and thank you for that. I think that is absolutely a wonderful, wonderful move on our part to get that done. I wrote some extra grants and have been able to support that along with equipment and all that. So that's been a priority, and going forward, I feel like just being able to continue our outreach to the community. There are several artists who live in our community, and I would really, really like to bring them on board and let them just be more familiar with what we do or who we are, and see if they can if there's any way that we can support them or any way that they can support us. We
As in bringing new members and board members in.
Well, ideas. I think
New
an
ideas.
artist
Sure.
who has been a professional artist for their entire life would have a perspective that would, I think, give us great benefit.
Right.
So I would really like to be able to tap into that knowledge and that expertise. We have done some of that, but I would really like for us to increase our outreach.
If there are any artists that are watching this, how would you prefer them to contact you?
Well, just by email. They could email. They could respond to the website.
Okay.
And email that way. That would be
Okay.
an excellent
There
way.
is a contact form on our website. You can always also email myself, and I can make sure Reba gets it. That email address is cchacHayesville@outlook.com. We talked a little about the art side of it. Let's talk about a little bit of the history side of the organization as far as the Old Jail Museum goes. Can you share a favorite exhibit or project that stands out to you?
Well, I think one of the most interesting exhibits that we have, and the way it was established, was the African American exhibit.
Upstairs.
The story is on the board there, and it's all written out. But I love the story of how there was a lady from Ohio, I think, or Kentucky. She was shopping at a church in a bazaar or whatever, and she found a book that was a philosophy book or something like that. And anyway, when she took it home, she opened it up, and there was a picture that was of a cabin, and at the bottom of it, it said, "The cabin in which I was born in Clay County, North Carolina," and it was signed HWT. And so there was no way that she knew. She found out where Clay County, North Carolina was, and so she sent a picture of a copy of that picture to the library. And this would have been like almost 30 years ago. And of course that was before computers were in wide use, so nobody knew anything about that. And so it was just sort of tucked away until one of our board members, Jim Glock, tied into that and started searching for information. And he found out who HWT, because his name was Henry Wister Tate.
Okay.
And so he began to look at land deeds and so forth, and found out that Mr. Tate, who was a doctor, had owned land that started down below the road that goes to Tusquity, all the way down the river and all the way up around the river to Downers Creek.
Wow.
And so anyway, everybody knew that there was a slave cemetery there. So Dr. Tate had a lot of slaves that as they passed away, or whatever happened to them, they were buried in a cemetery up there. So that began to tie some, get some information and tie some of the loose strings together to find out, as far as the information is concerned. And he did an absolutely magnificent job of bringing that all together. And the exhibit it sort of tells the story, but it doesn't have, I think, the in depth that I was able to gain from it. It was just really such a beautiful story. Anyway, after the war, he was 8 years old after the Civil War, and he and his mother went to Cleveland, Tennessee, and took what is called a freedom train to, I think it was Ohio, where he ended up, and eventually went on to become a Methodist minister, and earned a doctorate degree and wrote articles, and his story is just absolutely such a beautiful story. When we dedicated that exhibit, his family came. I think great-grandchildren came.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Yeah.
They were so delightful and so fascinated with what we had done and how we'd pulled this all together. From just that one little drawing. It's a beautiful
one little
beautiful
drawing,
exhibit.
and it just drew the whole and added more depth to all the culture in this town.
And of course,
in this county.
Ann Miller Woodford was absolutely such a wonderful resource to get that all together.
Yes, and we have a let's see, that would have been one-on-one with Clay County History with Miss Ann Woodford.
Oh yes.
And that interview is on our website also. And she goes into detail about the schools and how many grades there were and where they had to be after 8th grade, I think, wasn't it? It only went to 8th grade?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I think so.
To
And
eighth
so
grade.
after 8th grade, they had to go somewhere else.
If they went to
continue.
high school, they had to go to over to Asheville. And we have in that exhibit, we have the story about the integration of the students back into the regular schools. So,
Yes,
you know,
which
so-
is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, that may be your favorite, but I know there are several other exhibits in the old jail. Can you tell us a few more of them?
Well, of course we have the moonshine still.
Yes.
And you've done the
That was
interview with
Mr.
Mel. Yeah. Yes.
Robert Mull.
Mull. Yes. Every one of the exhibits are delightful to me. I tell people I can brag and brag and brag about the museum because I didn't have anything to do with getting it together.
Right.
So anyway, I did do a lot of it, just a little bit anyway, about the schools and the exhibit that we have done on the schools and the information that we gathered. We went back and talked about all of the little schools that we could find. You know, there's several of them that even into the early 1900s, they just sort of faded away and nobody even, kept a record or anything of them. They were just very close to where the school was, where Sam went to school and where his mother taught, So anyway, they would have been closed years before that school started, but there was the Oak Curve School where Sam's grandfather, or great-grandfather, taught. And
Wow.
so just really such a rich history about the schools and how I was able to make a contribution to that, pulling that information together. Patty Moore and I were together to do that, and it was just really a fabulous experience. So.
And we also have a pre-electric kitchen. And we have the textile room that has all the feed sack.
Oh yeah! Oh yes! Yeah.
That was amazing to me. How industrious the early frontier women, or whatever you would call them, how industrious they were. They turned the feed sack into clothing and cute stuff too.
Oh yes.
I was really amazed about that as an exhibit.
They use the feed sacks for everything you can imagine, undergarments and sheets and whatever,
Dresses, dolls.
Yes.
Making little dolls for the kids.
Yes. Another exhibit that I really appreciate is the Cherokee exhibit. Of
Absolutely.
course. That one, and we've done several programs. Through our grants, we were able to bring in people who had everything to do with making that exhibit happen.
Yes, from the artifacts that came from Spikebuck Town and Spikebuck Mound to some of the pottery. There are the masks. The clan masks are amazing.
Oh yes.
The replicas. There was Cherokee games, moccasins. There's so much to see in the Cherokee room. I've been in there more than 10 times, and I know I still haven't seen everything. It's just every time I go in, I see something. I'm like, why did I never see that before? Would you like to talk about any other exhibits?
Oh, of course, Dr. Killian's office.
Yes.
That was such a wonderful gift for the McGlamry family to make that available to us, and when it was brought in, it was like all of his instruments and.
But a major production. They literally brought his doctor's office like down the road and attached it to the side of the old jail.
Yes,
right?
They actually did. They put it up on a flatbed and just hauled it right down there.
That's amazing.
It wasn't that far, but I mean, even though carrying a building on the back of a truck, trying to tie it down and everything, I'm not sure when that was done. I can't remember. It was probably. I think sometimes maybe in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, or early 90s.
We'll have to find out.
Yes, I'd like to know too. I can't remember exactly when it was, but anyway, this has been a magnificent exhibit. Just to
Some of the instruments I'm just amazed at, and there's actual bottles of tinctures and salves, and there's a couple of old machines like the early days, what they used for, was that X-ray?
some sort of imaging.
Some type of imaging. Just as amazing stuff. It actually has his book laid on the desk that has, you know, who came in for what, pulled tooth or stitches or. I love that kind of stuff. It's like going through your grandparents' diaries, you know. It's like
What
you
is so
learn
nice
so
about
much.
that one too is that it's close enough to the edge of the desk so that people can flip through and see if they can find some of their relatives.
Sure, yeah.
And that's
Because a lot of it is roped off that you can't get to in there to touch the instruments and stuff like that. But that is right there at the rope, so
I
you
love
can
that.
see that.
I love that.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's actually an old jail. That's why it's called the Old Jail Museum. So I believe it was a jail until 1972. Is that correct?
I think, yes, 1972, 1912 to 1972.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never realized it was 1912. Wow.
hmm
That was a long run.
Well, and there are some records of what what facility they used before, so it was sort of like a stockade, I think, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't really anything, elaborate. It would have been, very a log building and so forth.
Right.
So it was just not
Right.
not really anything elaborate. I don't think they had a need for.
Probably not. Population was probably pretty
Yeah, it
small in
it was small,
1912.
and they were, I'm sure there was a need for law enforcement, but
Sure. Yeah.
but not to the extent that we see now. So, they didn't need a long term. I'm sure that there were people who committed crimes that where they had to be taken away and incarcerated for longer periods, but I don't have any idea about who they were or when. But anyway, I'm sure they were there. But anyway, it was just amazing to me that it was still all the way into 1912 before they built a structure that would really function.
That is still standing, and I know you guys renovated in, I think, 2019 and pointed up all the brick and stuff and did some remodeling inside and improved your exhibits and stuff. So I know that was a big undertaking. And
It was. Oh my
it
goodness!
looks amazing now.
How wonderful
The old
that
building.
that went through a grant by a very generous donor, and we are so thankful that we were able to have that and be able to do that. That was a wonderful, wonderful project.
So let's talk about the community a little bit. In your view, how does the education and the arts work together to strengthen your community?
I think one of the things that strengthens a community is information and communication.
Absolutely.
So the arts, of course, I think are stressed in the schools, and I'm so thankful for that. K through 12, every student has access to art, and many of them take art. All through elementary, we were able to provide those students with art, and of course they can choose. They must choose a high school class within the arts, so it can be a visual arts or music. So they're having that requirement brings a lot of students into the classroom. So that provides the information part, and I think that they are made aware of the value of art and just the process of creating and just being creative and developing their creativity and the freedom to do so. And so it's our position, I think, is to make the communication and the connections there. So as much as we can possibly do, we're going into the school and providing extra stimulation and information as far as techniques on how to do different kinds of art, different media, and we do that in elementary and middle and high school. So that's a part of our grant process. So we're able to do that, And it strengthens the community when parents see that, and they begin to have some comprehension of how important that is.
But I love that it is provided in elementary school, because if you can hook them on art in a young age, they're going to stay with it their whole life, throughout their school career, and possibly even after, and maybe even turn it into a career.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And some of them go away and major in art, and of course, become teachers or just visual arts as a profession. So it's wonderful to see that, and that was one of the joys and delights that I had when I was teaching, was to see how they were, some of them, and everybody is not supposed to do that,
Right.
but they are certainly able to do that if they choose to do it. So they're equipped. I even had students come back after going away to college and saying, I was required to take an art class, and I knew everything that they were teaching because you'd already taught it, just like that.
Oh, that's rewarding.
So I thought it was, I was glad that I got that confirmation and reinforcement to continue the path that I was on to teach art, because, they need to know the basics, and how it applies.
Well, I also wanted to mention too that I was amazed how many artists are in this area. And
Yes.
it's from all different medias. Like
Right.
there's so many. There's potters and there's painters and then there's in different types of paint. I can't even go on and on. There's so many artists, and I've been able to meet a lot of people through this organization, and I'm very grateful for that. But it's really interesting. It really seems like a lot of artists in the area.
I think a part of it is the existence of the folk school,
Yeah.
and their focus on the arts throughout the years. Since they were established way back in the 20s, and earlier than that.
Yeah, they're 100 this year.
Yes,
right?
they are. Yes.
So, or 2025 or 100.
Yeah. So that's true. That's true. So their influence has been great, and also people like Rachel Watson, who has the Elf School. And we were able to feature her in
that's an amazing
our
place.
school exhibit, because
Yes.
she took that old school and has turned it into something that's really, really significant. And I'm not sure how many of those artists are going to remain in the local area, but she does come. They come from a lot of different places, and study or just experience a retreat there. And so her program is absolutely wonderful.
What would you say is your most challenging aspect of being involved with Clay County Historical and Arts Council?
Oh, wow. I guess the most challenging would be, recruiting additional people to invest their time and effort into the organization. We try to have every opportunity for that, and I try to reach out, as many different ways as I can to meet people and encourage them to get involved with our organization. That's a challenge, and perhaps that's something that I need to learn to be more effective at doing. And I would really like to see a greater response in people who are willing to come on board and be a board member.
Sure.
And
the board member and volunteering your time, but also just membership helps a lot with our funding the programs the different programs that the Historical Arts Council sponsors throughout the schools or throughout the community. And so if you look at our website, there is a tab for memberships and donations, and you can read information about that on our website also.
That's a wonderful point, because of course our membership is our membership dues are not very much, but it's when you get 100 people or more who are willing to contribute that small amount, it does come up to a good little bit.
It adds up, and it also provides more opportunities for you to reach out and
Right.
into the community and help. Let's look ahead a little. What are your hopes in the future for Clay County Schools?
Well, of course, one of the things that I'm really hopeful is that we can eventually get a grant to finish the construction that is underway right now, which will provide for classrooms for 6th through 8th grade. But we had originally planned and intended that our grant would cover grades 3 through 5 as well. And that didn't happen, so we were able to go ahead with what we've got, but I'd love to see that other wing built as well. I think we really need that. Perhaps not right now so much, but we're building for the future.
Sure.
So that's what I'm hopeful that we can do at some
Hopefully
point
that can be the next project.
That can be
Yeah.
the next project, and hopefully that will take place and we can get that grant and start building pretty soon. I hope we can do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would.
How can the community members get involved and support your initiatives that we've talked about here today?
Well, with the Arts Council, just look at our website, and there are multiple opportunities that are mentioned. That we can see people involved in. We always need volunteers for our festival, and of course, just serving as a board member, I think is one of the most important things that we could. That new people could
Right,
tie into and do.
Right, and they bring in new ideas for fundraising or for
Oh yes,
for
exactly.
New projects that we could sponsor or just
yes,
new ideas.
yes.
Yeah.
I think that's a very key part of it. Is to, I don't think that we're stagnant in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
But I think that just somebody who would give a new perspective, that would be absolutely important and vital. I think,
Yeah.
just to see that somebody who had had experiences and they could make a contribution to our organization. I would welcome that.
Is there any other subjects you'd like to cover today about either the schools or the CCHAC? Anything we haven't touched on?
Oh wow.
We've covered a lot of ground, so.
Oh, not really. I think that we have covered a lot of ground, and I love the organization. I cherish the opportunity of being a part, being in leadership. I never thought that I would be the major grant writer, and we had a wonderful person on board who was just fabulous at writing the grants, and she announced one time at a board meeting, well, I don't plan to do this anymore. And so we were sort of left with, well, who's going to do
Scrambling,
it?
yeah.
And so, somebody raised their hand, and I looked down, and it was me. And so I just sort of have been doing it ever since, and I'm not sure how many years that's been, maybe 8, 9, 10, or whatever. But it is just delightful to be able to, walk through the process, and got another application due for the 26-27 grant cycle, and so finding out programs and the way that the Arts Council, North Carolina Arts Council, adapts their grant process, which is usually it'll stay one way for a little while, and then they'll change things around and do a new format or something, so it's always a challenge to learn exactly what they're requiring and how to answer the questions and so forth. But one of the things that is really nice this year is that they are not just giving us the option, but they're really encouraging us to retain 50% of our grant for operations. So that's going to give us an opportunity to, just sort of, again, be creative and see some of the things that we want to accomplish, and follow through with those where we might have at one point looked around and said, well, we really don't have money to do that, but we'd like to see it done, so now we might be able to afford that. So, there could be some additional even signage or you know, some additional programming that we would think of, and you know, just ways that we can enhance what we're doing.
I love that encouragement is coming from where you're getting the grants from the North Carolina Arts Council. I like, it makes you realize that they are literally, they care about your organization and they like what you're doing, and they want you to continue and grow.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Well, one of the things that they really insist on too is that we must be able to match our grants 50-50. So you know, that's not really undoable, but it's something that we must be conscientious about. So you know, we must have those funds coming in
Sure.
that matches the grant.
yeah. So your biggest fundraiser is the 2-day art festival on the square right there in downtown Hayesville.
Exactly.
And then usually a couple, 3 months later will be the silent auction. That's another fundraiser. And then of course the memberships, that brings in funds. Do you have any other programs you can think of?
Just donations that come, and we do have some very generous community members who donate, really just you know, sporadically, I guess you could say. You know, we'll go to the mailbox and there will be a check for $300
Nice.
or whatever, $5 or whatever.
Whatever they can spare. That's
so
wonderful.
Yeah, and it comes, and of course we have the sponsors from the festival. We invite people to be sponsors, and the community has been so generous about that. We truly appreciate that, and you know, Patty and Dennis are no longer here to do the food, so being able to find an avenue, provide, you know, for a provider for the food and how that's going to work, and so anyway, it's going to mean that we're, you know, we're going to have to change up a little bit, but you know, that's not a bad thing. I think it's going to work out really well. So what's coming down the pike for that, I think, is going to work out okay. And you know, it's just you know, a little bit more money that we'll have to invest in to make the festival happen.
Yeah.
This year. So
are you open to restaurants or catering places
we have
to
already,
contact you?
Yeah, we have already found someone who will, and I can't remember what, if he has a restaurant, brick and mortar, or whether it's a food truck, how he's going to do that. But anyway, the food will be through his organization.
Wonderful.
And it's going to be great. I think it's going to work out just fine. It's going to be a little different because the menu will change a bit, but I think it's going to work out real well. And you know, there's just that's been something that we've had to work through. Patty and Dennis were absolutely so generous to do what they did for so many years, and we appreciate them so deeply and so much that, you know, it's quite a sweet memory to realize just how much they did, and you know, so they are going to be missed, but we're going to make it happen, and I'm excited to you know,
branch out in new areas.
Well, as we talk about, you know, what we've already, you know, the contacts that we've already made, and the plans that have already been made. We had a couple of board members who have taken it on, and you know, they're being very conscientious about making contacts and exploring options there. So, you know, we really appreciate their efforts. So thank you, Steve and Kathy.
I wondered if that's who it was. I figured they were a wonderful couple.
Aren't they wonderful?
So I'm pretty sure that since you said food truck, that there's some people watching that say, are food trucks allowed this year, next year? No food trucks?
Well, we talked about that, but
Yeah.
but actually, we would not make any profit from it, because part of the profit that we make from our festival is selling the food.
Right.
So we need to buy that and make a resale. So, you know, we're functioning like, you know, like any restaurant would function.
Right, right.
You gotta provide your food. You gotta provide quality food, prepare it, and get it done.
Right.
You know, so we've got the bases covered with that. But anyway, it's going to be really, really good. But another point that I would really like to make is that, you know, I've talked a lot about, you know, getting board members to come and join us, but I'd like to just make a point that we have a board that is absolutely fantastic. You know, those people are so dedicated and
Yes.
so, I mean, they work so hard and they're always available. I mean, when we have a meeting, you know, of course, Marcia Christie and I are co-presidents, and I mean, it's just like she can finish my sentence almost. You know, I mean,
Yes.
we really function well together, but every board member has so many ideas, and so, you know, they contribute so much. So I really appreciate our board. It's great, and the ideas that they come up with, you know, for reaching out and for you know, projects that we need to do, activities that we need to do, things that we need to do to make our facilities stronger and more efficient, and you know, just things that need to be done to make the grounds and the what we have there to be more efficient and run better.
Yeah, and it's such a wide range, you know, of things that could be setting up or you know, to set up and take down of the events. It could be maintaining the lawns. I know over in our botanical garden there are plenty of volunteers. We have less, I think, than last year, but we're always looking for volunteers to work in our garden. And
yes.
the board members, I'm amazed at how they are so versatile. You know, it doesn't matter if you ask them to pick up a pen or a rake; they're just willing and able, and you know, and they love helping, and they're ready for the next thing. Yeah,
amazing. And you know, we're beginning to show some age. Nobody wants to admit that, but it happens, you know, so that the stamina is not quite what it used to be. So, you know, there was a time when 4 women could haul a tent across the lawn and set it up, and, you know, get it. But you know, we have to call for a little bit of masculine strength anymore, you know, and that's always wonderful when somebody is willing to step up and provide that.
So you hear this, right? We're calling all younger crowd, you know, to get some of the younger generation interested in the arts and in the history of this county that we live in. It's just amazing. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Just thank you. I really would like to say thank you for all that you've done, all the videos that you've made, and all the wonderful people that you've interviewed and put on our website. It's absolutely wonderful. I love the variety of people. Some of them have just been community members who have some stories to tell, and others have been artists. I would certainly like to mention Helen Gibson, who will be celebrated pretty soon
in April.
For her winning the award, the Heritage Award for her carvings. Helen Gibson is a treasure and has been a wood carver her entire life practically. So anyway, her carvings will be our featured exhibit, our 3-dimensional exhibit this year. The students from Miss Engelman's class will have their artwork exhibited in our exhibit room this summer.
Oh, that's great! I didn't realize that. Yes.
So
I can't wait.
I'm so excited about that. That's a great. We've done that, I think, once before, I remember, but it'll be great to have that again. And I love involving the students this way. And so anyway, this is going to be a very good year for us. So anyway, we're past our celebration of the 50th anniversary for our organization and the 50th anniversary for our museum. So we had 2 years of celebration, and we made a great big cake. And so the idea is perhaps to contribute that to our float that we're going to have for our parade for the 250th, which will be on the 4th of July.
For 4th of July? Oh,
So-
that's wonderful.
So I think that, yeah, and I got a big laugh when I suggested that to the board, but because we've worn that cake out, I think, already. But anyway,
But you gonna put it on and put it on a float
Oh,
for
yes,
the
we'll
4th
put-
of July
we'll put it-
for Freedom Parade?
yeah.
Freedom
So
Fest?
we're gonna. I don't think we'll be able to have sparklers, but we're gonna have shiny objects
Sure.
all around it, and 4th of July flags and American flags and banners and so forth,
That's
all
gonna be
around it. So
wonderful.
I think that's a wonderful way to finish the life of the cake.
Yes. And here's to another 50 years. But we need you. We need new blood. So come on in. It doesn't matter your age. Everyone is welcome to come in and speak with Reba. The Old Jail Museum is open normally Memorial Day to Labor Day. Then October will have shortened hours. And then it's always available by appointment. So check out our website for that detail.
Thank you again, Tess. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, it's clear to me that your dedication to education and history and arts has left an indelible mark on Clay County. And I just wanted to say, on behalf of all of us, thank you. Thank you for
Well,
that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Your work as an educator and a school board member and co-president of the Historical Arts Council has kind of helped create a stronger community that's connected, and it values its past while looking towards the future.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We encourage everyone to support your local education, the cultural programs, and historical preservation efforts. And together, we can ensure that Clay County's rich heritage continues to inspire generations to come.
Thank you, Tess. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you for joining us at One-on-One with Clay County History, presented by the Clay County Historical and Arts Council. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and gained a deeper appreciation for the stories that make our community unique. And if you would like to volunteer to be on One-on-One with Clay County History or in our Artist Spotlight, please don't hesitate to email me, Tess Thomas, at cchacHazeville@outlook.com. To learn more, we'd love for you to visit our website at Clay History Arts NC, that's arts with an S, clayhistoryartsnc.org. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube for updates, events, and more interviews. I'd also like to add here that this episode has been made possible by a grant from Granny's Attic Thrift Store here in Hayesville, North Carolina, and the NC Arts Council, which is a division of the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, a state agency. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep honoring the history that makes Clay County special. Thank you.